Okay, students, good morning. Today we will discuss force exerted by the static fluid on the curved surfaces immersed in the liquid fully. That is, force exerted on curved surfaces and the curved surface is fully submerged in the liquid. Okay, so in the previous classes we have discussed the force exerted on the surface which is immersed horizontally. We also discussed the cases when the surface is immersed vertically and also when the surface is immersed in the inclined direction. Okay, so now the fourth case is the force exerted on the curved surfaces when the curved surface is fully submerged in the liquid. Okay, so for that case, let us take a container, okay, having the corners curved, Okay, so this is the curved surface of the container. Okay, let AB is the curved surface. AB is the curved surface, and this is the static mass of fluid which is stored in this container, and this is the curved surface, or the end edges of this container is a curved shape, having the curved shape. Okay, now how to calculate force exerted by this static mass of fluid on this curved surface? Okay, on this curved surface. Okay, so again you can take same principle, that is, let us consider a small element. Let us consider a small element of area dA, small element of curved surface, and dA is its area of small element or small strip of the curved surface, portion of the curved surface. Okay, this is the tangent to this point. This is the small element and this is the tangent point. So always we know the static mass of fluid will exert force on element in the normal direction. So this is the normal direction. The force exerted on this small element is dF in the normal direction. Okay, let us take another strip on this curved surface, and this is the normal. Okay, and this is the tangent, and normal is in this direction. So in the curved surface, every point the force exerted by the static mass of fluid in the normal direction is going to change. Means the direction of force is going to change from point to point. Okay, so let us consider how to calculate the force exerted on this curved surface. Okay, so for that let us consider a small strip having area dA, and this small element is at a depth h from the free surface. This is the free surface, and force exerted by this static mass of fluid on this element, let it be dF. Okay, dF is the force exerted by this curved plate at this on this element. dF is the force exerted by this static mass of fluid on this element whose area is dA. So force exerted is the dF on this element. dF is equal to P pressure intensity multiplied by area of the element. area of the element. dA is the area of the element. So P is equal to what? P is equal to W into H. We know P is equal to W into H. That is, pressure intensity is equal to unit weight of water multiplied by the height, or the height between the free surface and the element. So dF is equal to WH dE. So okay, this is the force exerted by the static mass of fluid on the element having the area dE. Okay, this small element is what? It is a portion of the curved surface. It is small portion of the curved surface. Now we are interested to know what is the total force on this entire curved surface. So on this, to know the force exerted by the static mass of fluid on this entire curved surface, you multiply or you integrate equation 1. Okay, integrating equation 1, dF is what? dF is the force exerted by the static mass of fluid on this small element. So if you want to know the force exerted by this static mass of fluid on this entire curved surface, so you integrate equation 1. So integrating equation 1, okay, integration of dF is F, okay, and W is the unit weight, so this is a constant, you take this integral sign, and this integration of HdA, integration of HdA. Okay, so now this is equation 2. Okay, now let us take the tangent makes an angle theta with the horizontal. So this is angle theta. So suppose this angle is theta, means this is 90 minus theta. This is the tangent. This is the tangent. If this angle is theta, means this is 90 minus theta. So this angle is theta. So if this angle is theta, means this angle is theta. So now to know the magnitude of force F also, okay, so you can resolve this force in the vertical direction and in the horizontal direction. F is equal to Fx is equal to F cos theta. Okay, resolving this in the Fy, Fy is equal to F cos theta, and Fx is equal to, resolving this in the horizontal direction, F sin theta. Okay, so you find the horizontal and vertical components. Okay, so F is equal to what? This is the force exerted on the entire curved surface. F is equal to W integration of H dA. Okay, now the magnitude of the resultant force F is also equal to square root of square of Fx square plus Fy square. What is Fx? Fx is the horizontal component of F. Fx is what? Horizontal component of F. And Fy is what? It is the vertical component of F. Okay, so this is as you know from the mechanics. Okay, this is as you know from the mechanics. Okay, now what is this Fx? Fx is equal to, this is the total resultant force. Now I know dF is equal to WH dA. Okay, dF is equal to WH dA, and the component of Fx is equal to what? Integration of dFx. Okay, this is the total force Fx, total force Fx, okay, is equal to sum of the forces acting in the horizontal direction. So because every on the curved surface, okay, so the force direction is going to change from point to point. So you are getting dfx1, dfx2, means it is summation of the forces acting in the horizontal direction on the curved surface. So Fx is equal to integration of means Fx dfx. dfx is the horizontal component of df. So the total force is what? The integration of dfx. So dfx is equal to df wh dA, okay, df sin theta, okay, this df is equal to df sin theta, okay, df sin theta, df is equal to what? wh dA multiplied by sin theta. So it is w integration of h dA sin theta. Okay. Similarly, Fy is what? Fy is the vertical component of total force, and this total force is equal to integration of vertical component of df in the vertical direction. So df is equal to wh dA cos theta. So integration of this, because you have dfx is equal to df sin theta, dfy is equal to df cos theta. So dfx is equal to df sin theta, df is equal to wh dA is df multiplied by cos theta and sin theta. So this gives you the total force in the horizontal direction, this gives you the total force in the vertical direction. So now you observe the dA sin theta and dA cos theta. In equations 3 and 4. Okay. dA sin theta, this is angle theta. If this angle is theta, means this is theta. What this dA sin theta represents? This dA sin theta, it represents the vertical projection of area, curved surface AB in vertical direction. And dA cos theta is what? It represents horizontal projection of curved surface AB in horizontal direction. Okay. So in equation 3 and 4, dA sin theta is what? It is the projected area in the vertical direction. Projected area of the curved surface in the vertical direction. dA cos theta represents projected horizontal projection of the curved surface in the horizontal direction. Okay, so in the horizontal direction. Now you observe this figure. While calculating the total force F, what you have to do is you just calculate the force Fx. Fx is the surface force. Fx is the surface force because it is acting on the surface. Okay. Fy is what? Fy is a vertical component. Fy is the vertical component. It means what? It is the weight of the water which is going to store on this curved surface. This is this weight. Okay, so this is the weight of fluid or weight of liquid resting on curved surface. So from this is the surface force, and this is the volumetric force or self weight of the fluid resting on the curved surface, and the total force F is equal to square of Fx square plus Fy square. So the case is very simple in case of the curved surface. Okay, to know the force exerted by the static mass of fluid on the curved surface, what you have to do is you take the projection of curved surface in the vertical direction. So in the vertical direction, always it is in the vertical direction only, that is plate immersed in the vertical direction. That case you have to use. Then calculate Fx, that is surface force acting on the projected area of the curved surface or projected curved surface in the vertical direction. So that is the surface force. Then you calculate the volumetric force. What is the volumetric force? Volumetric force is nothing but the total weight of fluid resting on the curved surface. And always this volumetric force, it acts at the CG point in the vertical direction, means in the downward direction. And Fx is what? It is the surface force. Okay, it is the total surface force acting on the surface. This is also acts at the CG point or the CP point. Okay, it depends upon whether the plate is horizontal, the surface is horizontal, or it is inclined, or it is the inclined, or it is the vertical, as we have discussed how to calculate in the earlier classes, how to calculate the total magnitude of the force exerted by the static mass of fluid on the vertical plate or on the inclined plate and its point of application. Okay, so these are the four important cases we have discussed, that is the force exerted. Okay, so in the analysis of the hydraulic structures, or in the design of the hydraulic structures, it is very, very important to know total force of the magnitude of the total force exerted by the static mass of fluid, on the structure, on the hydraulic structure, and its magnitude is means F, its point of application, means at what point this maximum force is going to act on the structure, and its direction. Whenever you want to define a force, you define the force totally by its magnitude, by its point of application, and by its direction. Okay, so in all these four cases, we have discussed how to calculate the magnitude of the total force exerted by the static mass of fluid on the horizontal plane, on the vertical plane, on the inclined plane, and also on the curved plane. And the point of application means at what point this maximum force is going to act, then also its direction. So now by this time, after end of this study, students should capable to calculate the forces or the force exerted by the static mass of fluid on the surfaces and how to calculate the magnitude of the total force and its point of application and its direction. So this basic knowledge, okay, or this basic information or knowledge is required to analyze the and design the hydraulic structures. The hydraulic structures examples: the gravity dam, earthen dam, then the canal gates, regulating structures, cross regulator, head regulator. So those things we will discuss in the higher semesters, okay, whenever we are discussing the design of hydraulic structures. So there we are using this information or this knowledge. So without knowing this, you can't analyze and design the hydraulic structures. So this is a very, very basic knowledge for the, or basic computational skill required to you to analyze the hydraulic structures and to design the hydraulic structures. Okay, so now this ends these 4 cases as per the syllabus. Okay, so these are the 4 cases we are supposed to discuss. So we have discussed all these 4 cases, and if you have any confusion, because we are going to upload the notes also in the Google Classroom. So if you have any, please go through all these derivations. Derivations are explained step by step very clearly in the notes. You just read and also listen the videos. Even though if you have any doubts or any difficulties understanding these basic things, you please contact either to me or Professor Water. So we are ready to clear all your doubts either to me or Professor Water. So at any time you please send the questionnaires in the Google Classroom, and we will answer for all your questions. Okay, so now we will discuss some numerical problems. Okay, so numerical problems. So anyhow, this is the online class. So whenever the regular classes are going to start, again I will explain these things, writing once again on the blackboard. Okay, so meantime you please go through this, and any doubts you can free to ask questions at any time by online. Okay, so next is, let us take some problem, that is force exerted. Okay, so next we will discuss the problem, that is the problem is like this. A tank, you have a tank, water tank, a rectangular tank, okay, a rectangular tank contains water up to a height of 0.5 meter above the base. A tank contains water up to a height of 0.5 meter above the base. An immersed liquid, specific gravity, and this tank is again, it is immersed fully by another liquid of specific gravity 0.8 up to the top of the tank. Okay, up to the top of the tank. The height is 1 meter. So the question is, you calculate the total pressure on one side of the tank and the position of center of pressure on one side of the tank, which is 2 meter wide, which is 2 meter wide. Okay, so this is what? This is you have a tank, you have a tank, you have a tank. Okay, as per the given case, this tank is filled with water. This tank is filled with water. A height of 0.5 meter. a height of 0.5 meter, and above this and above this the tank is filled with a liquid of specific gravity 0.8 okay, and this is also given, this is 1 meter. The width of tank is 2 meter. Okay, this is the numerical problem. Okay, let us take practical problem also. Suppose if I have a water tank, or a container. Okay, let us assume that that container is filled with water. Of height 0.5 meter from the base. This is the base of the tank. And width of this tank is 2 meter. Okay, and above this water, this tank is filled with a liquid of specific gravity 0.8. Okay, now the question is, you have to find the total pressure exerted on this vertical surface. Okay, total force or the force exerted by these two fluids on this vertical, on any one surface, either this surface or this surface. Okay, let us take this as A, B, this is A, B. Okay, so this is the vertical projection of the side AB of the tank. Okay, this is the, okay, vertical projection. So that is this side, okay, AB. Okay, and this surface or this is the vertical one side of the tank, and the width of the tank is, so actually in the three-dimensional figure how it looks, so it looks like this. You have like this. Okay, now this AB means this line. Okay, and it is nothing but this plane. Okay, this is nothing but this plane. Okay, or this side, A dash, B dash is the vertical plane, and its projection in the vertical direction is AB, and its normal is always in the x direction. Okay, normal is in the x direction. So this is the normal, because this is x, or in the horizontal direction. Okay, so let us take this. Now from the hydrostatics, so what we have discussed in the very first class, means of the, when we started discussion on the unit 2, that is the hydrostatic. What hydrostatic? The static mass of fluid exert a force or a pressure on the plane, and the distribution of this pressure is triangular in shape, having zero magnitude at the free surface and maximum at the base. Okay, the hydrostatic distribution law, what that law states, the pressure exerted by the static mass of fluid on any surface is triangular in shape, having zero magnitude at the free surface and maximum at the base. Okay, so now this is our free surface. Free surface. Okay, up to this 0.5 meter height the liquid is water, and up to 1 meter the liquid is having the specific gravity. The liquid is having the specific gravity 0.8 meter. Now the pressure distribution diagram. Pressure distribution diagram, as I have told, the hydrostatic pressure distribution diagram. The hydrostatic pressure distribution diagram is triangular in shape, having the zero magnitude at the free surface and maximum magnitude at the bottom. Okay, so this is the bottom of the liquid of having specific gravity 0.8. Okay, so this is, suppose you can call it is as H1. So it is W1H1, and this is triangular in shape. This is triangular in shape. Okay, then next, at this level, at the bottom, this liquid is water. So this is the pressure. This is equal to W. Now I will take this height as H2. H2 is equal to 0.5. So WH2, and I am going to join this. So this is the pressure distribution. This is the maximum pressure acting at this level because of liquid of specific gravity 0.8. This is the maximum pressure acting at the bottom of the tank because of the fluid water, and also liquid of specific gravity 0.8. So this is B dash. So this is C dash. This is C. Now the pressure intensity at point C. At point C is equal to what? This is at point C is equal to W1H1. So W1 is what? It is the specific weight of the liquid having the specific gravity 0.8. So W1 is equal to specific gravity of this liquid multiplied by specific weight of the water. So 0.8, 9810, it is the specific weight of the water multiplied by the height H1. It is 1 meter. It is 1 meter. So pressure intensity at C dash is equal to 7848 Newton per meter square. Sorry, this is W1 H1, this is W2 S2. So next is pressure intensity. At point B. Pressure intensity at point B is equal to W2 H2 plus W1 H1. What is W2? W2 is the unit weight of this liquid is water, so it is 9810 multiplied by H2 is 0.5 plus W1 H1 is 7848. So pressure intensity at B dash B is equal to this plus this. You calculate that. Okay, this is 12753 Newton per meter square. Now the pressure intensity at C dash we know, then the pressure intensity at point B dash also we know. Okay, next is what is total force. Okay, total force acting on this surface. Okay, total force acting on this surface. So for that, this is a irregular safe body. This is a irregular safe body. So for that, what you are supposed to do is, okay, you are supposed to, we are divided this irregular figure into, this is one triangular portion, this is another triangular, and this is a rectangular. So this is figure 1, this is figure 2, and this is figure 3. Now the total force acting on this triangle ACC dash, total force equal to what? Area of this triangle ACC dash multiplied by unit width, that gives you the volume. Okay, that gives you the volume. Okay, area of this triangle is equal to what? Half W1 H1 multiplied by height H1 multiplied by 1, that gives you what? Force. And where that force acts, that force, suppose you can take it is P1, or you can also call it as F1. F1 is equal to area of the triangle ACC dash. Okay, area of the triangle ACC dash multiplied by 1. Okay, and where it acts? Okay, you know the CG point lying, okay, because the plane is touching the free surface. So, okay, CG point is 1/3 from the base or 2/3 from the top surface. Okay, so this force is acting at a distance of h1 by 3 from the base. Okay, now you take triangle. Okay, you can take this point as E. Triangle C dash B dash E. Area of this triangle is what? Half W2 S2 multiplied by H2, that is the height, and multiplied by 1. So let that is F2. And this force is going to act at a distance of H2 by 3. H2 by 3. And now on this rectangular portion, C dash CBE, that is F3. Okay, now we will calculate F1, F2, F3. Okay, F1 is equal to half W1 H1 multiplied by H1 multiplied by 1. This is nothing but volume multiplied by unit weight. Volume is in meter cube, unit weight is in Newton per meter cube. So meter cube cancels. So ultimately you are getting the force. This is equal to half W1 H1. W1 H1 is 7,848. H1 is 1 multiplied by 1. Therefore F1 is equal to, so here not unit length, so the width of the tank is 2 meters, so you can take 2. Okay. Area of the tank, area of this rectangle multiplied by width of the tank is given, that is 2 meter. Okay, then so this is 7,800. You calculate please that. So it is 12,753. Sorry, not 12,7. After this 2 cancels, it is 7,848 Newton. Okay. This is equation 1. F2 is equal to, again, half W2 H2 into H2 multiplied by width of the tank 2 meter. Okay, you calculate that. Then F3, this is 2452.5 Newton. F3 is area of rectangle, that is area of rectangle E, B, C dash multiplied by 2 multiplied by 1. Area of this is 7,848, because this is 7,848 into 2, then 7,848. So F3 is equal to 7,848 multiplied by 2 into height is 0.5 into 2. So total force is F is equal to F1 plus F2 plus F3. Okay, so you please solve this problem. So we will solve some more numerical problems in the next class, and we will discuss tomorrow, and we will solve some more numerical problems in the next class. Okay, thank you.